Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Seattle's Eastside Real Estate Podcast, the podcast dedicated to living and working on Seattle's East Side. It is Wednesday, May 12th, and we are live on Facebook from sunny Phoenix. I know that's hardly the East Side, but I guess it is east of Seattle, right? We thought it would be a great idea, since there's such a strong connection between the Seattle and Phoenix area, to share a little bit of insights about this area. We'll get to that. Now, if you're watching live online, please feel free to comment and share on Facebook. And also, our podcasts are then uploaded to YouTube, so you can subscribe to us on YouTube, or go to our website, the eastsiderealestateteam.com, where you can find lots of past podcasts and some of the past sponsors and businesses that we've featured on this show. Also, you can subscribe anywhere podcasts are podcasted, Apple Podcast and Google Podcast. We'd love to hear your feedback. Feel free to subscribe and share your thoughts in any of those places. Today, we're going to be welcoming our good friend Rob Young from Oasis Senior Advisors, kind of like really we're in an oasis, so that's kind of cool. And we're going to be talking about smart financial decisions for your retirement future. But first, let's talk some real talk. So we're going to go over our Seattle East Side market update. We do this every month, and it sounds like a bit of a reprieve. Is it true that Seattle area home buyers are going to get a little bit of a reprieve? I don't really think so. During April, though, we did see a significant number of new listings compared to the same time last year. According to our latest report from the Northwest Multiple, there were reports of moderating prices. More homes were added to the market, but buyers still have to be prepared. Throughout the month, some homes were added, but homes were snatched up. Historically, we see a nice uptick of the number of new resale listings coming in the market every May, and this is no exception. However, there's still a large backlog of home buyers, meaning 4 to 5 or 6 homes buyers per home. According to the most recent data, King County showed that we had 4,602 new listings, up significantly from last April. Now, I have to point out, last April was ground zero for COVID and the quarantine. So there's all of our numbers for April, May, and June are going to show significant increases because we have, quote unquote, more of a normal cycle this year. On the east side, the number of new listings in April also exceeded the number of March, February, and January. So total active inventory, though, still remains 32% lower than it was at the same time last year. So while we're seeing big increased numbers, still we're at a 32% reduction of inventory of the same time. So it's kind of crazy to think that. Pending sales in closed sales saw big year jumps in King County. Pending sales were up about 77%, while closed sales were up 64%. If you factor into about 50% of those numbers were because we didn't have anything happening in the month of April last year. That's why we see such big numbers, and I expect that to continue. Closed sales were also up from about 2,956 up to 3,402. Prices, too, are continuing their rise on a year-over-year basis, where we've got about 15% growth year over year. So that median home price in King County, get this, is $750,000. And then their home prices compared to May is about 10 grand up. So it's Western Washington, there may see some softening in the average price, but as long as new inventory continues to be adding. Now, there is some good news, and it's too early to really suggest that this trend will continue, but we're seeing that a shift back towards more of a balanced market in outlying areas. So when I say outlying areas, just think of King County and then go to the edges. So that's what we mean on outlying areas, because we're still, actually one phenomenon we're seeing this year that we did not see last year is we're seeing a higher competitiveness on condos and townhomes. Now, last year, we didn't have that level of competitiveness because a lot of people viewed condo and townhomes as the same thing as an apartment. COVID created an environment that really pushed people out towards the edges. They didn't want to be, well, not toward the edges, but towards a little bit of room, right? So going from a condo to another condo, that wasn't as desirable. But this time now, those are some of the only the affordable prices is in condos, thus driving more competition. So the big major difference that we're seeing is Last year, there was not competition for condos. This year, there's competition for condos. All right. So let's see. Oh, the time between coming on and off the market is the shortest that we have seen in my entire career. It's about 4 to 5 days total. So the time that a home comes onto the market, and that's usually you'll have it in just spotty areas, but now this is kind of all over the place. So now the housing bubble is more than a dozen years ago, didn't look like this. There was still inventory at that time and inventory kept going. Right now, we are still not at the number of new construction that we were at in 2007. So that seems to be the major bottleneck. I read a recent article in Inman News that talked about how long the housing shortage was going to continue, and it was a matter of years. And that is really because we're not putting enough resources into building new neighborhoods and new homes. All right, so long story short, there may be minor relief for some buyers. Just understand that the months ahead are going to continue to be fairly brisk. I do believe in the Northwest, August will show a bit of a quote unquote slump compared to the activity. And the reason for that is I believe a large majority of mobile people will find that it's time to have their vacations. Being locked up in quarantine for over a year and then being fully vaccinated. I do believe August might show a little bit of a slump. Doesn't mean that relative to the long-term outlook is going to be major, but keep an eye on making the most of the next 2 months if you're thinking to sell. All right, so as a little special edition, I thought I would bring you what's going on in the Phoenix area. Now, Phoenix is just as hot as Seattle and King County. Maricopa County was the fastest growing county in the country last year. So, and as it stands, they're building like crazy as quickly as they can. You can see new factories and facilities being built almost month to month. So I come here every so often because I have family down here. Now, there's this awesome little neighborhood on the west side, close to the Whitetail Mountains, that's called Verrado. And it's in the city of Buckeye, and it's a pretty fantastic community. I believe, hey, Joanne, how many pools are here, like facilities? Pools, public pools. So 4 public schools, 1 large high school. There's grocery stores and all kinds of stuff being built in and around this area. So some statistics. Last month in April, there were 60 homes sold and the average sold price is $500,000. The average days on market in Verrado, which is the name of this neighborhood, is 37 days on market. A lot of that has to do with the new construction because they start the clock ticking pretty early, but most resale homes go in a matter of weeks. Average price per square foot is $211. The lowest priced home sold last month was $300, and the highest priced home is $1.2 million. One of the awesome things is there are some 55 and over communities here, and there are other communities that are just a whole blend of age groups. There are 2 golf courses. Actually, no, I didn't play any of the golf courses here in Verrado this trip. So if you want information about the Phoenix area, reach out to the East Side Real Estate team. Like I said, we have great connections here on the west side, as well as the east side, the Scottsdale area, and some great ones down in the Tucson area. So that is our Real Talk segment. That concludes it. If you're interested in this and other topics, you can find them on our website, the eastsiderealestateteam.com. And if you know of anybody that would like to learn a little bit more about the Seattle market or the Phoenix market, reach out to us at 425-200-4093. Thank you for listening. Now, after this short commercial break, we are going to be speaking with Rob Young from Oasis Senior Advisors. Now, do you ever find yourself not having enough time for what matters most to you? Are you feeling overwhelmed? Too much email, too many tasks, and way too many demands on your time? What if you could free up more time and spend that time on things you value the most? The professional organizers and productivity consultants at Simply Place have worked with thousands of busy professionals like you who don't just want to get more done, but they want to get more of the important things done with less stress and less time so that they have more time for what matters most to them. Their comprehensive It's About Time virtual productivity program teaches you the secrets of long-term sustainable life-changing productivity. They provide monthly webinars, implementation challenges, resources, community, and accountability. You'll learn tips, techniques, and strategies to help you more effectively and efficiently manage your skills, your email task time, workspace priority projects, and resources. You'll implement organized systems and productive habits at work. You'll finally get better results at work, experience less stress, have more time, and look much more relaxed, kind of like I am right now, super relaxed, right? With your friends and family, and you'll take better care of yourself. Pursue hobbies, go for a round of golf, go for a dip in the pool. Do you crave more time for what matters the most? Are you ready to take control? Isn't it about time to start having more time for what matters most? Call Simply Placed at 206-579-5743 or visit their website at itssimplyplaced.com. Again, that's 206-579-5743. Itssimplyplaced.com. Because join today, because really it's about time. Your time. That's kind of a cool slogan. All right. Welcome back to the show. We're here with Rob Young from Oasis Senior Advisors to discuss good decisions for your future. Now, let me tell you a little bit about my friend Rob. He retired from Boeing, I don't know how long ago, Rob?
Oh, about 7 years ago.
7 years ago. And he discerned a calling to serve aging seniors and their families through their stressful journey when they're searching for new housing. Some seniors want to remain independent and just live in a community with a great dining room that takes care of the housekeeping and plans social activities. Others may need 24-hour care. Oasis Senior Advisors walks with seniors and their families through a journey with a free service that helps them find the right independent living, assisted living, adult family home, or memory care setting for them. Oasis is a national company that is locally owned and operated. Rob maintains certification with the Society of Certified Senior Advisors so that his clients know that he has the independent training, testing, and business practice to serve seniors and vulnerable adults. Since 2018, he has served as an officer and board member of the association that offers continuing education, best practices, and ethics trainings to evaluate the service that the entire industry provides to Washington seniors and their family. Rob, welcome back to the show.
Good morning, Dan, or good afternoon, wherever it is.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thanks for coming on today. Now, we're going to be talking about making good decisions, and that's the topic. So what does making good decisions mean when working with Oasis?
Well, throughout our lives, we've been seeing our parents make great decisions, especially when we were kids. They always made great decisions for us. And then as they approached retirement and after, we saw them make, again, great decisions for themselves because it was informed by all this experience that they had. What happens as people get later in retirement, much later, is sometimes they recoil from decisions because they're hard. A decision like where to live is a difficult one. There's a lot of things to consider. And it could also be just the fear of the unknown. Especially during COVID, people were afraid of quarantines and what's going on there at this community or that one. And so people have just kind of decided to stay in their house for a while. And whether it has stairs or it has a high step to get into the shower, or I don't know, stacks of belongings that are dangerous and all the activity it takes to be a property manager in your house, people are staying in their houses too long. They're missing out on socialization, nutrition, any care that they might need, the transportation, activities, all those things. And we really help them find the right place for them.
Now, you mentioned COVID and the complications arise out of that for you and your industry last year. Are we out of the woods yet?
As a society, we're sure not. We need more people getting vaccinated. And, we're still seeing some need for lockdowns in some areas. Personally, I'm a freedom-loving person. I'd be happier if people could make decisions for themselves about their own risk profile. Who knows, we might even incentivize more people to get vaccinated with that, right? But, it's really a different story in the senior living communities. Most of the residents in the senior living communities have been vaccinated, nearly all. And a huge proportion of the staff has been as well. So what we're seeing is there's no more quarantines. People are, activities have resumed, dining rooms are open, people are able to hang out with friends again, family can visit. So all that stuff is resumed and life is good.
Okay, excellent. So as we look forward for potential family members that were considering this life choice, right, making a choice in this regard, what are some of the signs that you may want to consider speaking with you about getting them in a retirement community?
Sure. A lot of times it's, if you're already getting some in-home care, it might be becoming too much of a burden, right? So it could be, it's too expensive at some point. On average, it's, $36, $38 an hour for in-home care, and you have to sign up for a multiple hour block of time each time. You could see accidents happening more frequently, dishes getting dropped, toilets getting clogged, all kinds of things. Medical care might be needing that more often. The diet could even be suffering. It's especially when you're living alone, it's hard to get motivated to cook for yourself. And some people, if they're having some memory issues, they might forget to eat. And so you'll see weight loss. Isolation has been really awful for people, especially during the pandemic. So those are just some of the things, but you need to watch out for them.
Okay, so what if it's just a matter of concerned about their ability to drive?
Well, that's a great time to have a conversation, right? And AARP has some really good some really good resources. So does the AAA, really good resources for how to have that conversation. Driving is so intertwined with independence and getting to call our own shots that some people are just afraid to give that up, even if they're putting others in danger by continuing to drive. There's so many options now. You don't even have to know how to use a smartphone. To use Uber or Lyft, you do have to know how to use a smartphone. But there's a service called Go Grandpa that will let you just use a plain old telephone system, and they handle all the interaction with Uber and Lyft.
Oh, what about grandma then? Just kidding.
That's what they called it.
That's what they called it. Okay. All right. So, okay. Tell me about Oasis. What is Oasis Senior Advisors?
Well, we're kind of like a travel agent. So we know about all the trips you could take. And, all the trips you could take would include the more than 150 licensed assisted living communities in King County. It could be the more than 1,000 adult family homes. All these places, there's so many to choose from. We know them. We've been there. We've smelled the smells, tasted the food. We know the people. So that when we get to know you and we understand what your needs are, what your personality is, what your care needs are, your budget, what part of town you want to be in, what your timing is, we can help find the one that's right for you. And like a travel agent, our services are free to you. And
okay, hold on a second.
What?
You said the services are free. What's the catch?
Well, like a travel agent, we're paid by the providers. And what is a little different in our industry than with the travel industry is our contracts with those providers actually they can't charge our people any more than anyone else, right? So they can't recoup their fee through our clients. They have to eat it in their overhead.
And I think I want to just unpack this a little bit because this is a common, I think, misconception in a lot of ways is the senior assisted community is highly regulated, right? So what they can provide, how they provide, all of those things. And what you're saying is somebody can go and look at a senior assisted facility and they can get checked in by the people that offer services there, sign up and go. Or they can go with somebody like you that can kind of be their advocate, stand in between the sales pitch perhaps and help them determine what's better, and there's no change in cost to the consumer. Is that correct?
That's right. And it's not just finding the right fit. It's overwhelming combing through all the options that are available. And some of the places are full. And if you have an immediate need, calling and being told, no, we don't have any openings would be frustrating, especially if you've called 10 or 20 places and that's the answer you're getting. We know where the openings are.
Awesome. Okay. So,
hey, Dan, I just wanted to add, we are a nationwide resource. So, we have 3 offices in the Phoenix area. We're up in Scottsdale, South Phoenix, Chandler. We cover the East Valley. So, we are nationwide. We're here to serve people everywhere.
See, I think it was really timely. I didn't plan it to have you on here at the same time. But I mean, a lot of people snowbird back and forth, and then there's a point where they're not going forth anymore. They're just staying down here. And then there's that transition. So you're able to refer them to an Oasis advisor down here in the Phoenix area?
And vice versa. Sometimes we have people who were snowbirds and now
Mm-hmm.
they're getting up maybe close to 100 years old and they're starting to need care and more help from their adult children who are now in their 70s, but live here. So they want to move back here and find a place here.
That's awesome. That's a really great point. Thank you for pointing that out. Now, why should somebody, or let me do this, internet search. Can folks log on to your website and search, or how does that work?
Yeah, the best way to find us is to go to oasisssenioradvisors.com. And you'll enter in your zip code and you'll be connected to the advisor who's closest to you. Now, you could also try searching for the communities themselves. You could search assisted living near me. And I'll tell you that most of the time, the highest ranking search results are going to be mouse traps. All they want to get you to do is click on that website. They're going to glean your personal information, sell that. There might be a link that says click here for pricing information. You're probably not going to get pricing information without having to fork over all your personal information. And then you can expect your phone to light up for a long time.
All right. So it's kind of, so basically by either calling you or going to oasisssenioradvisors.com, it's kind of a firewall against all those nuisance calls about this, that, and the other thing, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So how long does your process take, and how far in advance should a family be talking to you?
It's we can work very quickly. We have relationships with hospital discharge planners where they need to get somebody out of the hospital, and we can get them into the right setting in sometimes same day if we get started early enough. But so we can handle a crisis like that. I really prefer somebody who's thinking ahead, not years ahead, but just a couple months ahead. Ideally, if it's 1 month ahead, that's perfect.
Okay.
Plenty of time to look at all the options.
And I know that you've consulted with some of my referrals where it was a matter of years, partly because it took some time for the individuals to kind of figure out what the next steps should be, just the emotional side of things.
Right.
Yeah. So now, we're all a little forgetful, but I know that it can be a lot of stress to a family when that forgetfulness is accelerated. How do you help with memory care, or is it just part of the aging process?
Well, with normal aging, our brains do slow down a little bit. It's normal. It might take a couple seconds to recall someone's name. And, Dan, you and I have a pretty quick banter going back and forth. And that's why sometimes elderly people do talk more slowly, and it just allows their brain to keep up with the pace, right? But what's not normal, and that's normal aging, by the way, what's not normal is if you just can't remember the names at all. And, so sometimes I'll be working with the adult child of someone and they say, oh yeah, dad's got memory issues. And it's like, well, what does that look like? It's like, God, sometimes it takes him 2-3 seconds to remember someone's name. It's like, he doesn't have memory issues. He doesn't need memory care. He's fine. We really want to assess if they do indeed have memory issues that are dangerous, like wandering or exit seeking, being combative. Those are the things that we need to look out for.
Awesome. Well, listen, Rob, it's awesome to have you on the show today. Do you have any promotions or anything to pass along to our those listening to our show today?
Absolutely. Just for your listeners, Dan, our service is free.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I can't believe you would offer such an amazing service for $0. That's awesome.
And it's not even for a limited time.
Not even for a limited time. Awesome. It's for indefinite time. So mention Dan Edwards when you refer to Rob Young at Oasis Senior Advisors. You're going to get free service. So that's fantastic. All right. Well, hey, listen, thanks again for coming on the show. We so appreciate it. And we're going to jump to our Stump the Broker segment here. And I thought I'd just share a little bit of insight about today's market and some real world action. Earnest money. So some of you may or may not know what the deal is with earnest money, but essentially it is money committed to the contract. It's a part of someone's purchase of the property that is held by an independent third party in order for the buyers and sellers to execute the contract. And typically, if one party doesn't do what they said they're going to do, they could lose some or, if not some or all of that earnest money. And I think it's important to talk about this because the environment that we're in, where buyers are hot and heavy, quickly trying to separate themselves from the competition, one of the challenges maybe is to not disclose where all of the funds for the purchase may be. And when that happens, it actually triggers what is called an automatic default. So if you say to somebody, I am putting $200,000 down on this $500,000 purchase, and some of those funds are held in the stock market, that could actually be a breach of contract, because in paragraph 1, it says the purchase price shall be in liquid assets, meaning sitting in a checking or savings account. If you have to sell a stock in order to have your down payment at the time the contract's written, technically you're violating that disclosure. Now we have forms that you can add to the contract that says, yes, it is in this 401k, or yes, it is in this money market, or yes, it is in Amazon or Microsoft stock. That way you're disclosing where those funds are coming from, therefore not doing it. So what I'm saying is, be very careful when you consider how to write the contract, that if there are funds that are not liquid funds that you are representing you have available to you, you could automatically be in default. So it doesn't matter what happens, you're already in default. So I just thought I'd say that because we did have an instance where we were able to earn some earnest money for one of our sellers. I guess earn is not the right word, but the buyers lost it. So that's it for our show. We hope you enjoyed the scenery. I think it's at 99 degrees. It's time for me to sign off and jump in this pool back here. We'll see you next week, Lauren. I think we have either next week or in a couple of weeks. I think we're going to be having Simply Placed on to talk about organizational stuff. And I should be in my home office or office in Bellevue. Thanks for watching. Rob, thank you so much for coming on. I don't know if you dropped off or not.
Nope, thanks for having me, Dan. I'm grateful for the chance to tell people about our service. Thank you.
Yeah, it's super valuable. Everybody should reach out to Oasis when they find themselves in that situation. Thanks so much. Signing off from sunny Phoenix. I'm Dan Edwards with the Eastside Real Estate Team. Thanks for watching.